Hi guys, Zach here. Welcome to Squash Essentials, and today is our very first episode of Gameday. This is where you guys submit a video and then we break it down. For our first match, we're going to take a look at Monday Night's Houseleague Match played between Ainsley and Steven. Let's get into it. What we are going to do is watch the rallies in the game and analyze them. After the game is done, we are going to break it down into key concepts. Here we are right into the game where Ainsley is serving to Steven, already up 1-0. Ainsley is in the gray shirt and Steven is in the blue shirt. So we are always going to be talking from Ainsley's point of view in this game, so let's just go back and see what happened. So right here, we hit a cross court here where a straight shot would have been better actually. We have the right idea here where we want to hit the ball to where Steven is not, which is the two back corners. The problem is that Steven is actually in the front left-hand corner, so by hitting a cross court, Steven can actually cut off a lot of these balls, hence why we try to hit it above his head into the corners by hitting out. This thought process by Ainsley is actually really good, but the straight shot is actually better because it will reduce the amount of risk that we have to take by hitting the ball up and above him and still punish Steven, but I think we have the right idea here, but just the wrong shot. We're going to see it play through here and just see the shot go out. Let's just highlight here that Ainsley actually volleys the serve here and actually goes on the offense to win the point. This is a good take by Ainsley, and we'll see why later. That is really important that he took the volley here and he netted him the point. Wow, so Steven just pretty much hits a really good shot here and hits it right into the neck actually. Not much Ainsley can do here. Although our serve wasn't the best, that was a tremendous shot by Steven. Now Ainsley should start thinking about whether or not this point was a one-off point, or can Steven actually reproduce this type of shot to win more points like this. If Steven has the ability to attack off these balls that are high and not so tight, then we'll have to make some sort of adjustments later so we don't lose too many. If not, then we can just allow Steven to go for these shots because more often than not, they are not going to die like that, and instead we'll be in an attacking position. Our serve return wasn't that great. Probably would like to see a straight length here just to get into the point. Now Steven actually puts the ball away immediately with some good touch. The fact that Steven has proven to us 2 times in a row that he can finish a point by using a drop shot should start setting off some alarms in Ainsley's mind. Again, we attempt another type of shot off the serve, the cross court, instead of a straight length. If we can see where we are taking the ball off the serve, it is actually pretty far back and close to the back wall. This makes the cross court even harder to hit and allows Steven to attack off the next shot. Steven decides to go for a boast here, but if you look where Ainsley is coming from, which is the back right corner, he is moving forward and towards the tee. This makes any attempt at a drop shot a little bit tougher because he is moving forward, so our shot has to be a little bit better than normal. Ainsley is actually still on the right side of the tee, so the areas you want to hit to are the left side in both corners. Again, the straight length would be the least risky shot here and probably punish Ainsley because Ainsley, as we said, is moving forward, and then if we bring him back again, he has to change directions. So we just want to highlight here that Ainsley's main goal right now should just be to try to get into the rally. We go for the boast there and it ends up not working out, but our goal should just be to get in the rally first by hitting the straight length. So we don't end up volleying this serve and it ends up being a tough shot to return, and Steven punishes with a straight length. I really like this punish by Steven instead of going for the drop shot because even if Ainsley returns this shot, we are able to attack again. Ainsley hits a good cross court off the serve, notice the volley, and Steven has to defend. Now exactly what we were talking about earlier about hitting a straight length off this shot, Ainsley executes this perfectly. Steven has to defend again and provides an even easier shot to hit, and we go for the drop shot. Ainsley set this rally up so perfectly that he could have pretty much hit any shot at the end there and still won the point because of his setup. Now what Ainsley has to do is try to repeat this formula throughout the game. Steven attacks off the serve here. Ainsley now has to be consciously thinking about his serve, or else we're going to be in a lot of trouble this game. The serve hurts us again with no volley, and Steven gets another chance to attack. Like Steven's previous chances, I would like to see another hard straight length so we don't have to get punished by hitting a drop shot when we are attacking early in a rally. The idea of hitting it deep was good and was actually working if we look at the shots Steven plays. We just need a little bit better execution by getting that ball a little deeper in the court, and we would have had a rally very similar to the one previously where we had it all set up nicely. Again, there's not too much we can do there. I mean, we could say that we could hit it a little deeper, but as we've been playing, that's a good length by Ainsley, and Steven just hit a good shot. Okay, so right off the bat, we hit a good cross court. The difference between last time when we tried the cross court was where the ball landed. This one was a lot further up than the previous one, which allowed us to hit a pressuring cross court because the shot was easier to hit. Steven has to defend now, and at this point in the rally, the point should be ours. So if we stop here, this is the exact moment we lose the point. Look at our positioning on the tee. We are slightly over to the right, and if we rewind a little bit, we will see our body weight going to the right as well. Combine our body weight and position to the right of the tee, we are unable to volley the next shot that Steven plays because we are a second late to the ball. We actually lose all the pressure that we had as well as the point. Ainsley had a very high chance to win this rally or even just keep the pressure on. This is a good example of how making a tiny error, it can end up costing you the point even though you had all the pressure on during the rally. Again, we end up not volleying the serve here, and Steven ends up shooting and winning the point. Again, we had the pressure here with the straight length, and then we couldn't capitalize on it. So by hitting this straight length, Steven is going to have a hard time capitalizing on this shot because it is hit behind the service box. This means Ainsley has the pressure again in this rally. The same error occurs with our positioning on the tee. The next shot should be a clean volley, but ends up giving Steven a shot at the front, and we lose the point. Would have liked to see a straight by Ainsley here because we have found success earlier in the game. Again, the right shot for Steven is the volley straight here as we had discussed before, but it is pretty impossible for him to play it at this position. What we need to do is actually get to the tee right away after we served, and he would be in the perfect position to play a volley straight or anywhere really. Instead, we cough off the ball and give Ainsley a chance to attack. I think the decision here for Ainsley is really close, so I don't mind too much the choice to go cross court. As we see Steven hit a really good shot after this, I would still favor a straight length here followed up by a boast or drop shot of some sort. We do end up volleying the serve here, so what's important is that even though it seems like this was a lucky shot, it at least increases the chances at winning the point. Look where Steven is standing when we hit this shot. No matter what shot we hit, as long as it's in play, Steven is not going to be able to properly set up for the return because we took the ball early and gave him less time to get set. This means most of the time he will not be able to punish us properly even if we do hit a bad shot. If we compare this to the times we didn't volley, there was not much we can do to win the point once the serve bounced. We hit a good serve this time because we hit the side wall, and Steven goes for another drop. This time we are slightly late, and combined with the ball being tight, we end up missing the next shot. Again, another serve, we didn't volley, and we end up losing the point. Cool, so we start off the rally with a good straight shot. We then hit the cross court. Again, I would probably like another straight here just because it's less risky, but it's close between the two choices, so I don't mind the cross court. And another good setup by Ainsley makes this next shot a piece of cake. For those of you keeping track, the score is now 6-14 and Ainsley is serving to Steven. Can we guess what is going to happen next? I want you to pause the video here and make a guess. Are we ready? Again, Steven attacks right off the serve to win the match. The final score for the game was 15-6 for Steven. Let's talk about the main concepts for what Ainsley did during this game. For starters, Ainsley is very capable of winning this game even though the score didn't indicate it. In general, what we want to do is play so that we have the best chance at winning the point in the least risky way. If we played the two rallies where Ainsley won the point convincingly, they both started with a strong deep shot. They were then followed by another deep shot. Finally, we hit a drop shot after that. If we followed this exact recipe, once we were in the rally, we had the ability to potentially win this game. Just look how easy the point comes to Ainsley in these rallies. There were many times where we had the right idea, but small mistakes costed us the point. For an example, if we go back to the rallies where we had the pressure but were slightly to the right of the tee, or the times where we went for any shot other than a straight length, all of these were potential points we can easily win with just some small adjustments in our game. So all of this stuff is once he is in the rally. Now the big problem for Ainsley, which actually costed him the game, was his serve return and his serving. During the game, it felt like there was no rhythm or any string of points Ainsley won. This is because there were no times Ainsley won more than 1 point at a time. Well, we can say maybe it's because of the things we just discussed, like not setting up the rally properly or not being in the right position on the tee, but this is actually something completely different. What happened during the game was that Ainsley lost a majority of the points on the backhand serve return and when we served to Steven. The problem with both of these things was that we couldn't even get into the rally because majority of the time after we served or hit our backhand serve return, the rally was over the next shot. Let's just put some numbers here so we can see how detrimental it was to our game. We served a total of 6 times to Steven on the backhand. He shot and won 5 of those 6 times. This is 1/3 of the points of the game already. Ainsley had to consciously think about hitting a better serve. The easiest way to hit a better serve is to make sure the ball hits the side wall. Once the ball hits the side wall, it makes shooting a lot tougher. And they are either going to stop shooting entirely or start giving up free balls or start hitting into the tin. Let's say though that Steven still managed to shoot well after the ball hits the sidewall. We have a couple options. We can either try to switch up our serve by perhaps hitting higher, like a lob serve, or hitting harder, or trying to change the angle where the ball comes off the sidewall. Now let's take it a step further and say that doesn't work either. Our next course of action would be to move up where we stand on the tee after we serve and help us prepare for the next shot. We know that Steven is going to shoot because he did so 5 out of the 6 times, so by being ready for this, we can hopefully get to the shots and at least get ourselves in the rally instead of losing the point right out. Now for our backhand serve return. We received a total of 8 serves on the backhand side. We ended up losing 6 of these points. Again, like the serve return, we didn't end up getting to play the next shot most of these times. We just hit the serve return and lost the point. The 2 points where we did win, we did something different that we didn't do the other 6 points we lost. Volley. What happened was that when we didn't volley the serve, the ball ends up too deep in the corner for us to hit a good shot, and then we gave Steven an easy ball at the front court. Steven had no problem putting these points away. When Ainsley volleyed the serve, we won the point because we were able to hit a better shot. Now in general, a volley is a harder shot to hit than one that bounces, which makes the volley a riskier shot. However, a lot of the risk balances out because the thing that the volley does is that it takes time away from the opponent because we take the ball earlier. If we look at the times we volley, Steven is not in a position to hit a good shot, let alone attack, of any shot that we hit. This is because we don't give him the time to set up if we volley. Our volley doesn't even have to be that good, we just have to hit it. So now if we look at a grand total of things, we lost 5 points serving to Steven and 6 points when receiving the serve when we didn't volley. This brings us to a total of 11 points. All Steven had to do was now win 4 other points to win the game, because anytime he received the serve or served to Ainsley's backhand, he pretty much won the point automatically. We do have to commend Steven for his ability to do this. When we play players who shoot a lot like Steven, it shows a lot of flaws in our game. Steven and shooters in general punish your mistakes almost instantly. Compared to other people, shooters will continually abuse whatever openings you give them. What a lot of people think is, hey, there's nothing I can do if he just shoots every time. Instead, we want to use these times as forms of instant feedback because it shows the holes in your game. If he is able to shoot, it is because your shot isn't good enough, and they are only shooting because you are giving them the ability to shoot. If the ball was tight to the wall, then they can't shoot. A lot of shooters, however, will end up going for high-risk drop shots anyways, and will either hit the tin or be a free ball for you if you hit a good enough shot. Now, when you give them a ball that's not tight to the wall, or when they have lots of time to set up for the shot, then it becomes a shooting gallery for them. So we can see how Ainsley can potentially win this game next time. First, volley the backhand serve return, and improve our quality of serve to Steven. This allows us to get in the rally. Now we have a much better chance at winning the point. Next would be trying to execute a game plan of some sort. In this case, it would be hitting deep shots, and then once it's set up nicely, a drop shot. We saw Ainsley do this multiple times during the game, and he actually won a couple points like this. These were not technical things we talked about today, but rather concepts and ways to play the game better outside of the fine mechanics, such as swinging the racket. Thank you guys so much for watching Gameday, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. A big thank you to Ainsley and Steven for submitting the video. If you guys liked it, go ahead and give the video a big thumbs up down below. If you guys want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button to the right. If you have any suggestions to improve Gameday or things you guys want to see on the channel, feel free to comment below. We are currently working on how you guys can submit your own matches for review, and if you guys have any suggestions for that, comment below as well. See you guys soon.